Alcohol for me has become synonymous with romantic relations with the opposite sex. It's possible to go without. But it's almost been like my religion to get drunk in Thailand. More specifically, alcohol is an occasional release for me. I always remember the beer scene in Shawshank when I sink some suds. And it's a way to engage with the ancient cultures that produced these elixirs and appreciate tranquility, beauty, and diversity. My favorite beer is Orval, which is made by an ancient order of Christian monks in Belgium. Trappist beers are my favorite. And, in Thailand, beer just works, as does vodka, if going out. It's a big part of my culture. I went to parties where alcohol was being served, probably from shortly after I was born, and definitely remember making cocktails with different soft drinks at the age of about 9. I was a smart kid, so avoided alcohol, which is obviously no good for a growing brain. But I had a personal reason. First of all, my dear grandfather, who lived less than a mile away from us, drank a quarter bottle of whiskey every evening, as well as 4 or 5 pints of beer in the afternoon. Secondly, we had a youth club, and a 14-year-old girl that had come to England from Germany that I knew, in my class, had to have her stomach pumped in an ambulance as someone had given her a bottle of whiskey. Is it a coincidence that extreme drinking that I witnessed as a child was mainly about whiskey, otherwise known as scotch? And, when I was about 21, one of the only times I blacked out on alcohol was on whiskey. It was an upscale, fancy ball at one of the best hotels in the centre of London. I'd had an empty stomach, busily running around London on the Saturday, and, as I don't have intolerance to alcohol, have experience of starting on spirits and drinking all night. At a leisurely pace. Luckily that night I got home all right, thanks to a friend. But I had no recollection of doing so. The only car that my friend could get was a limousine. And to this date, that is the first and last time I have been in a limousine in my life. But a drinker. Drunk nonetheless. Alcohol, for me, is the best in Thailand. It just matches the atmosphere and helps you to unwind and relax. Now, in Thailand, drinking all night, for me has meant Bangkok and Pattaya mainly, and about 6 weeks total in 2 trips to Chiang Mai. Bangkok 2008 to 2012 and Pattaya and Pratamak 2019 to 2020. I didn't know what happened, but I have to say that my times in Thailand have been the best of my adult life after the age of 26. Thailand has been the smile that I needed, that I wanted, that I desired. And it brought me to Buddhism. And how I fully believe in Buddhism now. Meaning that I follow a meditation and spiritual learning practice. Basically, my passion brought me to Bangkok, Thailand in September 2008 and into the baking late morning sunshine, and then full-on afternoon sunshine on the boat taxi from Ekamai to Nana. First culture I really experienced was the Arab area, and I loved it. The food is the first thing that draws you into Thailand. In Thailand, I have eaten brand new foods. To give you an example, Thai food and Chinese food, basically you are now in Asia, so you have the real deal. It's a big deal. I ate Thai food for the first time in London and it was a big deal. The flavors were so unlike anything I had experienced before. They did a pretty good job. That's a myth. That English food is not good. You can get the best food there. They had krapao and pad thai. Even the names sounded so exotic in the grey concrete jungle that I found myself at the turn of the millennium. Imagine the feeling being in Bangkok as a 30-year-old in the noughties, barely out of 20s, fresh from the dating scene in London, which had not really worked in his favour, to put it mildly. That was me. Literally, I was humble and dejected, while at the same time managing to get myself to Bangkok. Why does Thailand attract so many Westerners? Is it Buddhism? I ask myself. It could well be. Thailand attracted me. I just loved it. Still do. The heat. The people? I love the different parts of Thailand too. And traveling is definitely the way forward.